Hi guys, my name is Emily. Today I'm going to be doing a little book haul for you. One of the dangers of working in a bookstore is constantly seeing new books, all the new books, and hearing people getting excited about these new books. My coworkers, fellow customers, like as I'm recommending books to them, they're recommending books to me. I know you guys love book hauls. I know BookTube loves book hauls. So I'm going to share with you the little stack I have. Firstly, to remind myself of just what I have purchased and to be aware for future spending, and also to share with you some of the things that I'm excited to read in the near future. So if you want to get comfy and grab a cup of tea, I will share with you the things that I have bought. So the first book I have here, I just picked up yesterday, and that is The Lotteries Plus One by Emma Donoghue. Emma Donoghue wrote Room, which I read a while ago and really liked. So this is marketed towards 9 to 12-year-olds, and I think the concept for it is really what caught me. I was talking to my coworker about this book because I felt like after hearing the premise, it could have gone one of two ways. So the premise is that we have two queer couples, a gay couple and a lesbian couple, who come together to co-parent both biological and adoptive children in one house. So the story is about this large, non-traditional family. The story really kicks off because a sort of grouchy, grumpy grandfather has to come live with the family, and he doesn't really approve of this non-traditional lifestyle. It's a text that I'm interested in because it's looking at a diverse family in literature targeted towards 9 to 12-year-olds, reasonably young children reading about a non-traditional family, reading about queer parents. The thing that my coworker and I were discussing was when I heard the premise of the book, I was like, this is either gonna go one of two ways. Like, it's gonna be really great or it's gonna be really problematic, depending on how this goes. So I am very excited to read this book and to see what I think and to kind of discuss with my coworkers, and it's gonna be grand. The next book I picked up is because it's on the Canada Reads list, and that is Company Town by Madeline Ashby. So this just sounds kind of wacky for something on a Canada Reads list. You think of the books that end up on a Canada Reads list and it's all very like traditional and highbrow literature. And this just seems so out there. I probably won't be able to do it justice because I haven't read it, so I'm just gonna share with you the blurb on the back. Look at one of Go Young Hwa's clients sideways. Expect to end up on the floor with a broken arm and a busted nose, if she's feeling merciful. As one of the few people without bioengineered genetic enhancements, Hwa is part of a dying breed in the city-sized oil rig New Arcadia. But she's in peak physical condition, and combined with her speed and cunning, can easily go toe-to-toe with some of the most augmented men in town. After all, she's the best bodyguard employed by the United Sex Workers of Canada. When Lynch Limited, a technological tycoon dynasty, purchases the entire rig, Hwa's talents and lack of any sort of altering attract their attention. They have a 15-year-old heir to protect, and Hwa fits the bill. Any cyborg meathead can be attacked and rewired, but not her. It's an opportunity of a lifetime, especially for someone who's been living on the fringes of poverty her entire life. But when one of her former clients and friend, dismembered body, is found floating in the North Atlantic, Hwa finds her loyalty split between her past and future. It looks as if the future came to collect in the present. It's futuristic sci-fi Toronto, and this just seems like it's up my alley. It's something I'm really excited about, and it just kind of sounds a little batshit. The next book that, again, I picked up because it's on the Canada Reads list and because it was 40% off and because one of my coworkers loved it is The Break by Katharina Vermette. And again, I'm going to share with you the blurb on the back because I don't think I can do it justice otherwise without having read it. When Stella, a young Métis mother, looks out her window one evening and sees someone in trouble on the break, a barren field on an isolated strip land outside her house, she calls the police to alert them to a possible crime. In a series of shifting narratives, people who are connected with the violence, police, family, and friends, tell their personal stories leading up to that fateful night. Through their various perspectives, a larger, more comprehensive story about lives in this community and the after effects of trauma emerges. Seeking understanding and strength, The Break shows the resiliency of Indigenous women and the unwavering power of family love. It kind of ticks off all of my boxes. I'm very interested in reading Indigenous literature. I think it's important to think about how, as a white settler Canadian, I am complicit in the systemic damage of Indigenous culture. I am not one of the early explorers who came here and settled, but I am somebody living here and benefiting from those systems that were developed. Listening to Indigenous voices is incredibly important, and I think these stories that look at community and look at trauma and look at the effects of colonization are really, really important just for thinking about what it means to be Canadian. I know it's going to be a tough read. I've been warned that it's going to be a tough read, so it's something that I probably am going to have to sit with and mull over, maybe buddy read. The next book I have here is The Best Kind of People by Zoe Whittall. So this is one of my manager's favorite books. It's a book that deals with rape culture. So from what I understand, there's a school teacher who's been arrested for sexual impropriety with one of his students. His wife is sort of struggling to wrap her mind around the fact that her husband could do something like that. And his daughter, who of course attends the school, becomes a social outcast, a social pariah because her father did this thing to one of her peers. So it's a story that looks at rape culture, looks at the effects on a community, and looks at how people can piece their lives back together and try to move on if that's possible. Again, it's going to be a dark book, it's going to be a dark read, but I think it's an important read. The manager who loves this, she and I have similar taste in literature. I trust that this is going to be a read that I like. So the next book I have here was recommended by the same manager. I know very little about it, and the blurb on the back gives very little away. I know it's a popular book here on BookTube. A while ago, everybody was reading it, and so that is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. Theodore Finch is fascinated by death. Every day he thinks of a way he might die, but every day he also searches for and manages to find something to keep him here and alive and awake. Violet Markey lives in the future, counting the days until graduation when she can escape her small Indiana town and her aching grief in the wake of her sister's death. When Finch and Violet meet on the ledge of a bell tower at school, 6 stories above the ground, it is unclear who saves who. Soon, it's only with Violet that Finch can be himself, and it's only with Finch that Violet forgets to count away the days and starts living. But as Violet's world grows, Finch's begins to shrink. It looks like it's going to be an exploration of trauma and grief and mental health, and a lot of those things are things that I am very interested in. I've picked up a really dark and heavy stack of reads here, but I'm excited. I'm excited to get in on this conversation. The next book I have here is another piece of YA. This one I picked up because we had a staff appreciation weekend and it was 40% off, and I figured what the heck, I'd read the other 2 in the series, let's see how it ends, and that is Half Lost by Sally Green. So I read Half Bad and Half Wild. Half Bad really intrigued me. I read it quickly, it moved me emotionally. Half Wild, I had some concerns about queerbaiting, and I'm unsure if I've been queerbaited or if we have a genuinely bisexual character exploring bisexuality. And now I'm gonna know. I'm gonna find out what happens. I mean, my prediction is that I was queerbaited, but we shall see. This is also one of those series that really lost momentum on BookTube. When Half Bad came out, everybody and their mother was talking about it, and that's the reason I picked it up in the first place. But I haven't really seen a lot of the big booktubers who review YA review this book. I'm curious to see how it ends, just to finish off the series. It is a trilogy, it's complete, and I will let you know. So the next book I picked up is a little bit out of character for me. I don't tend to pick up nonfiction, at least nonfiction that is not feminist theory or community and culture text, but it's been so highly praised, and it's called The Stranger in the Woods, The Extraordinary Story of the Last True Hermit by Michael Finkel. So this is the true story of Christopher Knight, who in 1986 just upped and left his life and went to live in the woods for 27 years. From my understanding of this, he was caught because he survived by nicking things from people's houses, only what he needed to survive. Otherwise, he would have stayed in isolation, living all alone, away from humanity. People ask him why he upped and left his life for a life of isolation, and he really can't give a satisfying answer. And I'm sure at some point, everyone has thought about how great it would be just to be alone, be truly alone. So I get the appeal. Realistically, I have no wilderness skills and I would 100% die within the first 48 hours. It's still a fascinating thing and I am excited. I am very excited to read this. The last book I have here, again, I picked up because it was 40% off. No, wait, was it 50% off? Oh yeah, our bestsellers were 50% off. So some of these things I did pick up because our bestsellers for 2016 were 50% off. And one of those bestsellers is Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology. And when I priced it out, having this book 50% off would still be cheaper than the trade paperback when it comes out. I know absolutely nothing about this book. The cover is gorgeous. I've been looking at it for months. I like Neil Gaiman, his two pieces of children's literature that I've read, and the Sandman comic. I'm very excited to read more by Neil Gaiman, especially his adult fantasy stuff. And I don't really need to know more about it. I just know that I like this author and that I'm gonna give it a go. There are others here and there, but I honestly can't remember what I've picked up because I've read so much of it in between. So these are the things that stand out as things that I have hauled recently. Let me know in the comments down below if you have read any of these things, if you like any of these things. Let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.